Good morning, Vlogsters. It is July 20th at like 11, maybe a little bit later than 11, a little bit after 11, 11:30, somewhere in that range. Boy, I sat down thinking I knew what I was going to talk about, and my brain just kind of went, hey, what? There's too many subjects to think about. It's not that I didn't, excuse me, still trying to get the sleep out of my eyes. I slept pretty well. Granted, we woke up about 6 o'clock in the morning to bid our friend Lisa a farewell and safe travel. She is traveling down to Georgia to visit her sister and family members who live down there in Georgia before she has to be back in Texas to start her school teaching class. Start working, basically. She works for the school system down there, so like most people who work for the schools, they don't always get to have work during the summertime. So for a lot of people who work with the various schools or school systems around our country, they have that 2.5 to 3 month period during the summertime where they're off. Luckily, most school systems work with their people and give them temporary unemployment and assistance to live during the summertime unless they opt out and get a summer job. My cousin in Phoenix is the same way. Lisa's that way. A couple of our friends here in town who work with the school systems are the same way. And this includes everything from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade and college professors and people who work with the college as various employees, like food service employees, custodial employees, the professors and various other educators. They always have the same thing. It's, for most of them, they have that 3 months off, and a lot of school, like the one here in Missouri, I think Lisa's down in Texas, basically offer up some sort of temporary unemployment. I know I just repeated myself, and I'm sorry, but it gladdens my heart that there are companies out there like the school systems and whatnot that do their best to keep their employees without having to have financial issues during the off season. And sometimes it's not that much, but sometimes it's just enough that if they plan their finances out, that it's not a big deal. For our friend Lisa, she is very smart with her money. She only spends what she has to. So, she doesn't have to worry about a summer job, even though she tried to have a summer job, but because she has hip issues, it didn't last that long because of her hip being really problematic. She wants to get a surgery on that hip to deal with the issue so it doesn't get worse. But like my wife, a lot of the medical procedures that actually need to be done can't because of weight issues or other health issues. Now you gotta realize, I understand why Lisa is the way Lisa is, and I can understand why her hip bugs her so much. She's had 4 kids, and one of her kids, her last kid that she had, caused a lot of internal issues that I'm not fully aware of. I just know the base story that when her last son was born, he caused some damage. And he's a big kid. I mean, not like big, like overweight or anything like that. He is big as in tall. I shouldn't say big. I probably should call him more long because he's a good 6'2", 6'3". So he when he was growing up, he had issues as a baby, which thankfully has not caused permanent issues, but it just, the body is a strange thing. I mean, I talked about this a couple times before. Each individual person's body makeup or body appearance, or however you want to call it, is determined by genetics. And genetics determines everything from your hair color to your eye color to your skin tone to how much hair you're going to have, when you're going to lose hair. Genetics plays a very big part in the human condition. And only within the last, maybe decade to 2 decades, science has started to finally realize what they can do to alter, repair, or whatever genetic makeup to do certain things, which I'm kind of like, no, that's playing with God's territory. That's a no-no. No. You can operate on the body. You can go to doctors and whatnot for psychological issues and whatnot. But when you start playing around with genetic makeup and the material of the genetic system, which is an ancient system set up by God himself, that's when I go, no. It's one of those things where it's like, we don't fully understand what DNA does for us. We don't fully understand what kind of ramifications messing around with DNA can do. I mean, look at Jurassic Park. They took DNA from certain frogs and lizards and whatnot to create dinosaurs. No. It's one thing to clone a sheep or an animal because to most beliefs, animals do not have souls. Animals do not have a essence like people do. Even though there will be a lot of groups who say otherwise. I personally don't know. I personally think that animals do not have, especially livestock, sheep, cow, pig, chicken. They were put on this planet for one purpose and one purpose only: food. Yeah, they're supposed to be our food. Dogs, cats, well, you kind of sometimes gotta wonder, because sometimes them domesticated animals have a weird sense of personality. But I know for a fact that trying to alter human DNA is just like, okay, I can understand you want to go in there and understand the human DNA and why some people get Down syndrome or any of those ailments or problems that are considered part of their genetic makeup. But then, yeah, gene splicing and gene therapy and all that is just kind of like, well, yeah, you create the monster, you better be able to deal with the monster. That's all I can tell you. Of course, there's all these discussions about, oh yeah, if we understand the genes properly, we can go in there and tweak the gene syndrome of the genes of the DNA, so you don't have criminals or pedophiles or those kind of things. The negative aspect of the human nature. I sit there and go, yeah. But if you do it the wrong way, you can create a monster that you might as well just put it down. That's why when they start talking about that stuff, I'm like, no. You can cause more problems than you could good. Speaking about problems, I was looking at my various, I just put it as is. I was looking at the CDC app for what's going on locally, because everybody's talking about this Delta variant and how our shots and whatnot that we got, our vaccines, it gives us a better chance of not getting the Delta variant, but it does not fully 100% protect from the Delta variant. So my area CDC is put out a warning saying that the number of cases coming, basically it's coming from the southwest going east. And my little county, Phelps County, Missouri, has been getting spikes, which means we've been having more cases of COVID outbreak. So our local CDC is like, this is what's happening. This is what you need to do. If you haven't gotten your vaccines, you need to get your vaccines. If you have your vaccine, we still suggest that you wear a mask and sanitize and all the fun stuff that we've been dealing with for almost a year and a half. Yeah, something like that. I just kind of went, great. Just as I was thinking, yeah, I've got my vaccine. It's been over 2 weeks. I can stop wearing a mask. Nope. Luckily, I have some nice masks that I like that I still kept. Especially the bandana mask that goes from here to down like half, middle of your chest. Those I will never get rid of because I can see all the different kinds of uses for them. Like if I go outside to do anything that could be cause my nose to go nuts because of pollen, I can at least put that over my face and keep the pollen down to a tolerable level. I think next time I go to do the carpeting, when or if we go to do the carpeting in the craft room, which I think Jerry said she wanted to do, I'll probably wear that in there because of all the... After doing my bedroom, I'm like, I'm ready to... I just, like... I want to go get a respirator and sound like Darth Vader as I'm trying to do carpeting, Painter's respirators. I love those because the one I had years ago, if I breathed in just right, like took a deep, heavy breath, it sounded like Darth Vader. Okay. Anyhow. I might end up doing 2 videos today because I have some stuff to read from American Hagee and I don't want to do a very long video. But I wanted to touch on base, and I know I did a video for yesterday that I forgot to put out. So I might just not worry about that video and just do what I was doing on that video, which was just a regular vlog and talk about what's going on behind me. As you guys know, and I think I did say this in a video, that before we went to Texas, as we were getting ready to go to Texas, the debate was, are we taking the van or are we taking Lisa's car? The van had a bunch of like 16 bags worth of clothing and whatnot that I'm basically going to tell Jerry by the middle of next month, by the middle of August, or right around the time college kids start coming in. Granted, most of her clothes are plus size clothes. Mine are, my t-shirts are 2X or 1X. Most of them are 1X and they fit me fine. And I don't have much clothes. I didn't have much clothes to get rid of because I'm the type of person who goes, okay, it's been a year. We're switching out to winter clothes. What clothing items in my summer clothes can I get rid of because I didn't wear them at all? That's just me. Jerry kind of gets a little upset about it, like, oh, maybe I should stop buying you t-shirts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that's not the point. The point is, if it's not one of my favorite t-shirts, it's not a t-shirt that I've been wearing over and over and over again, at least once or twice a week, why keep it? Well, now that I have most of my clothes except for some, I think I'm gonna have to go through t-shirts at the end of the season again to see which ones I want to get rid of. Part of her thing is she's like, don't have to get rid of everything. We can always store it for when we get an RV. And I'm like, no. Because I'm not going to leave clothing in the RV where they can get chewed on and whatnot by moths or bugs or whatever during our non-RV time. I'd rather just take a week's worth of clothing out of my bureau or whatnot and put it into the RV. but she doesn't want to do that back and forth stuff. So she's like trying to keep some clothes for RVing. She's trying to keep some other items that we can use in the RV, that kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of like, you're putting the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse. There we go, the cart before the horse. We don't even know what kind of vehicle, what kind of RV we're going to do. I saw something on YouTube the other night, or not YouTube, TikTok the other night, that I just kind of went, I want that. What it is, it's a system that you could put in the bed of a pickup truck that when you want to go camping, what you do is, it's this thing that lifts up the camper shell. Like you just have a regular shell over your truck, it lifts it up to give you a little bit of height so you can put a cot or something inside the bed of your truck. And then it has this portion that goes on poles that sticks out from the back end and into the ground, and basically gives you this extra space to set up a tent type deal at the back end of your pickup truck. And I just kind of went, Jimmy want, because I want a pickup truck. So it's kind of like, I have to talk to Jerry about that and see if she saw the video, because I'm pretty sure I sent it to her if I saw it, and I went, hey, yeah. That's the way I am. It's like something cutesy witsy. I try to send it to her to brighten her day. Something I am interested or want, I try to send it to her. So it's like, But anyhow, to get back on track, we didn't know if we were taking the van or the Prius. At least it's Prius. So I was getting this room ready to either have bags from the back end of the van in here, or basically what ended up happening was 2 days before we decided we were going off to Texas, or 2 days before leaving for Texas, Jerry went on a ride to, where do we go? We went to Springfield in the Prius, and the Prius gets a very good gas mileage because it's a hybrid. It's one of those electric hybrids. So we took that ride to Springfield, did a few things, just the three of us in Springfield, and came home. And my wife was like, we're taking the Prius because, one, it was easier for her to get in, and it was easy for her to get into. And on a long rest, like going from here to Springfield or here to St. Louis or here to Texas, she had the capacity to get in and out of the car by herself with just a cane and not her walker. So it was like one of those, okay, sure, don't have to empty out the back end of the van. But to make things easier for Mom, there's some stuff in our entrance mudroom area, this not mudroom, foyer, this architectural terms, technically it's a foyer because it's the entrance point from the main into the house from the outside, from the like non-carport or non-garage portion of the house. And there's a coat closet right there. Mudrooms are considered rooms that were either, it has your dishwasher, dryer, cleaning area, washing area that goes out. It's between the garage and the main part of the house. That's what a mudroom is considered according to architectural jargon. But anyhow, I had some stuff out there. I had some stuff in the kitchen, and because Mom wanted to do some baking while we're gone for herself, she wanted the stuff that was in front of the cabinetry out there, ground level, that has her baking supplies. So I was like, okay, so that's what's in here. It's all the stuff that was basically out needing to be dealt with, but could not be dealt with until either A, we had money to send packages off to family members, because I have at least 5 or 6 boxes worth of stuff going to family or friends for gifts. I don't know what's in them, so I'm not giving away the factor of what these individual people are getting. But yeah, the reason why we haven't done that is because usually about the time of the year that we want to do it is the holiday season. And guess what happens with most people in America during holiday seasons? They're spending most of their money on gifts and food and whatnot. And for those of us who don't live really close to family members, it's kind of hard to remember sometimes to, oh, we've got to have money to send this package off, or oh, we need money to do this, or because most people are focused on getting the Christmas tree, getting the decorations up, doing, they're busy with one thing or another. It's not always about money. It's usually about time. And if you're somebody who works during the Christmas holidays, you're busy balancing doing your job, going Christmas shopping, getting food stuff, prepping for a Christmas party, things of that nature. And you get so busy that you're like, oh, it's the day before Christmas, and I have these packages that I'm supposed to send out, and I don't have the money for it right now. Yeah, problem is some of the bigger boxes are like a couple years accumulation of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, by the time we send certain packages off, the people that are supposed to be going to receive them are going to be pulling out stuff that they should have had 4 or 5 years ago as a toddler, and not today when they're 2-3 years of age. But most of the people would get these. Most of the people that these gifts are supposed to be sending out will be like, "Oh, this is nice. Thanks for sending it to us," and then do whatever they want to. Except for maybe 1 or 2 of my wife's family members, because they'll either call up and be sarcastic about it, like, "Oh yeah, I don't have a kid that old no more," whatever. I don't worry about it. But yeah, other than the gift items, the stuff that are supposed to be gifts. I hope some of the stuff wasn't supposed to go back with Lisa. Forgetful us. But the rest of the stuff is either stuff that's supposed to be given away, or taken to Goodwill, or put in the yard sale, garage sale, wherever you want to put it. I personally would like to just drop it off and get Goodwill, because Goodwill give you a little tax return receipt, so you have that information for tax time, and it's a tax write-off. You get money back for donations. So I'm kind of like, okay. That's what I would prefer to do, but Jerry's kind of like, well, some of the stuff is practically brand new, it hasn't been worn, or only worn once, or still have their tags on it. And I'm like, yeah. So I think she wants to go through the bags again to decide what she wants to give to Goodwill and what she wants to use for a yard sale. So I'm like, whatever. I'm at that whatever point, because I just want to get it done. I really do. What I have not told Jerry yet is if the stuff that we're not going to keep, the stuff that we're just going to get rid of, if that's not gone by, excuse me, I've got like itchies. If it's not gone by September, early October, I'm going to do whatever I want with it, and you'll just have to accept it. Because if we get back to our old pace, which I'm hoping to do Thursday, unless I wake up tomorrow with a lot of energy going, let's just get it done. Hopefully, if we get back to the pace that we were when we were doing our bedroom and then here, even though in here was a little bit of a slow start, but once we got to the bedroom, it was like steamroll. We should have her craft room done maybe within the first week or 2 of next month, which is, oh my God, I don't even know what month it is anymore, which is August. So I'm like hoping to get her done, to be 100% honest with you. Because once we get done with the craft room, we can basically focus on the decorating, the getting the stuff out, either to Goodwill or just out of the house. Unfortunately, out of the house means packing it into the back end of the minivan, hoping for the best. So, yeah. And now that I know what I know, and I haven't really talked to Jerry Ann about it, but I kind of want to talk to Jerry Ann about it because here's the problem. All right, if we keep the minivan because, we don't really have the monies or whatnot to get a new vehicle, and I have to be the one driving because of her sight issues, there's going to be a lot of changes because I'm literally at the point that every time I get into that van, or every time I go into certain rooms that don't have rhyme or reason why it's not organized or clean, I start getting the aggravation. Not because of the fact that it's like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to be the responsible one of making sure everything is clean, but it's also that kind of like one of those, right now, because of the craft room project, trying to get the craft room done and little projects here and there, I get worn out just trying to do the projects, and when I'm done with the projects, it's like I don't have anything left to clean. So, knowing me and the way my brain is the way my brain has been working lately, is once the projects are done, it's going to be like, okay, there's 7 days out of the week. 5 to 6 of those days are going to be mostly cleaning days, so I can get basically, like, what I want to do is once the dust settles from the projects and everything's done and all of the extras that we're not going to use, we're not going to keep or whatnot, are out of the house, I can go kitchen, which is the biggest of the rooms, living room, my space, our bedroom, craft room. So it's like kitchen, living room, my space, bedroom, craft room, bathroom. That's six different rooms that need to be taken care of because they are constantly used rooms. And I'm not saying that I won't go into the guest room to spruce it up or anything like that, but it's kind of like one of those, the guest room is just go in there, dust, vacuum, and make sure it looks nice. All the other rooms are going to be like organized, clean, dust, vacuum, put away. And the kitchen would be the biggest room because of the fact that it's the whole room, or I can split it up. But if I go by what I've been reading from American Cozy, that if I take 30 minutes a day just to spruce up the room, I shouldn't have to do a deep dive clean except for maybe once a week. So, or once every so often. What did she say? Find your hot spots or the areas that you use the most, which would be the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom. Once a week. Spend more than 30 minutes, or don't spend over an hour. It shouldn't take you an hour if you've been keeping the room spruced up. So she's basically, things I've learned that I'm trying to implement. And I know a lot of people look at these videos and see all this stuff behind me going, he's not practicing what he preaches. Well, there's a rhyme or reason right now. The rhyme or reason is we're still going through the process of cleaning up the house. Now, like I said, the gift items, the boxes of gifts or the bags with gifts or whatnot that we have to find a way to get out, I would like to do that this year. This holiday year, these boxes, all these gifts are going to get out, done, sent off. Basically what I'm trying to say is I'm hoping by Christmas time, everything's done. All the purging is done, all the storage is done, all the sending stuff away is done. Everything will be done. I mean, literally, done. Because I'm starting to believe a couple folks' tales and whatnot that my various family members have told me throughout my life, and then Jerry-Ann's father has told me while he was alive, is if your house is not basically the way your house is come the first of the new year is the way your house is going to be for that whole year. And I'm like, before I was just kind of like, no. But now that I look back and see the way my house has been, not just this house, but the houses I've lived in, places I've lived in the past, I'm like, there are some truth to that, because I remember when it was just me and Mom living here in Rolla in a different place. I always kept it clean, and when the new year came around, it was clean, and the whole year after that, it just stayed clean. And then I've lived in places after getting married, and at first it was like, oh, it's just my in-laws, it's just my father-in-law and the way he lives in his house. But then we lived for a short period of time in an apartment provided by her work, because she was a house manager. And I try to keep it as clean as possible, but it was never as clean as I would want it. Granted, it was kind of hard to keep a small... You'd think it would be easy to keep a small one-bedroom apartment clean. No, not really. Not when both the people who live there work various different hours, and between doing all the work we do and climbing stairs and having to make meals and deal with various things. And it was hardwood floors, and I did not realize how difficult it would be to keep hardwood floors clean. And now I looked underneath. I was trying to help Dre find something that she misplaced, and I was looking underneath the couch for it, and I went, how did this get dirty so quickly? We just moved it and cleaned it and vacuumed underneath it and all that stuff. And I'm just like, oh boy, I can't wait until the bedroom's got everything off the floors that don't need to be on the floors. I can't wait until, I think we're removing the carpeting from her craft room. There's a lot of things I can't wait for, because like, it is easier to clean, but it's easier to lose dust mites and whatnot underneath furniture. And well, that's one of the many things I gotta worry about. Anyhow, this video is 30 minutes long. I want to cut it short so I can go and do the American Cozy. So I'll have at least tomorrow, I'll have the day off and don't have to worry about doing a video if I don't want to. Not that I want to not do videos every day. It's more like either Wednesday or Thursday when I want to just wake up, get something in my belly for for energy wise, and start crack-a-lacking on the craft room. I don't have to worry about doing a video. All I have to do is post it. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this little conversation of insanity and craziness, go ahead and do the thumbs up button. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put it in the question and comment box. If you're new to my channel and you like hearing about other people's lives and what they're dealing with, and maybe you're also interested in what American Cozy is, or Hagifying, or anything about the history of the Vikings, the lore of the Vikings. I do a little bit of everything in my videos. For those of you who are new, I do a variety of different subjects that a lot of people don't even touch on, because the thing is, oh, it's either A, too personal, or B, nobody's interested. And I'm the type of person that goes, there's always somebody out there who's interested in something. Doesn't matter what it is. They might not want to hear about your bloody, gory surgeries or anything like that, but you know, everybody's interested in a lot of different things, and so am I. So here I am doing it. But anyhow, if you do enjoy any of those things, or just curious or whatnot, and decide to subscribe, you can hit the subscription button, and once you do that, little bell pop up, you click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. So until next time, have a good day. Bye.